Okay, now, and the cat comes back, so I think just let the cat keep walking. See how many, see what else we can do with that. All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Hello? Are you ready? Then we'll begin.
Third Sunday of Lent, and we definitely have a fuller house today. Come along and join us. This is Monday Morning Catholic, episode number 108.
Send down your mercy to set us free. Mercy, O God, have mercy.
Yes, in the year of mercy, this is probably a very good piece to be using, especially for Lent. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Monday Morning Catholic Podcast. I am your host and moderator, Joanne Mercier, and this week, in honor of all of us who are binging on Fuller House for Netflix, we actually have the boys are back in the house. Yes, a little Thin Lizzy this afternoon. Oh, now we got to turn that down. All right, we now know the boys are back in town. That's wonderful. Okay, now let's get to the real good stuff. So if the boys are back, that means Linda's not the only one here besides me. It's going to be a very balanced podcast with Linda Reed from St. Thomas's in Providence, Rhode Island. Good morning, Linda. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Good, good.
Glad to not be the only one here.
True. We enjoy that. And especially we enjoy when Jason comes back. Jason Herview from St. Brendan's in Riverside, Rhode Island. Good morning, Jason. How you doing?
Morning. Very good.
Good. Are we going to be seeing a feline friend occasionally?
You might. You might.
You might. Well, we always see a feline friend when Steve's around, and Steve's back. Steve, come on.
My feline friend is right here. See him?
Good, Sebastian. Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right.
I'm sorry. Has Lent been getting you down, or?
I need a martini is what I need.
But you gave up drinking for Lent. Is that the thing? Actually,
sure, that sounds good. Yeah,
that sounds good. Yeah.
Good. Okay, actually, I gave up the drink for Lent. And if there's ever been a Lent where I've actually needed in this one, so. And I'm not going into that, so you're not going to get it out of me. But glad to have you back, Steve. Most definitely. Sticking around for a while, I hope.
Yeah, so now that I'm in my new job with the Sunday night mass and trying to do things on Sundays, it's not easy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this podcast was almost going to be recorded at like 6 o'clock at night. I was supposed to be away this weekend, but there was no snow in New Hampshire. None. Zero. Not.
Yeah.
So we did not go up skiing. Well, my husband goes skiing. I don't. But we've had no snow, which is a good thing for us here. But up there, it's really killing the economy.
There wasn't much snow when I was up there a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently last week it rained, and that pretty much took care of the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin said, why should we go? And I said, okay, so now we just stay home.
Here we are.
Here we are. So this was good because if we had had to wait later in the day on Sunday, some of us would have been complaining about missing the Oscars. So, and yes, this is being recorded pre-Oscar. So
Is that tonight?
Yeah, that's actually yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I live under a rock, I swear.
Yeah.
Well, if it's Monday morning, you missed it.
All right.
Yeah.
Google it.
All right.
Here's the problem with award ceremonies or anything that happens live nowadays. people social media the heck out of it.
Yeah.
So you either have to go on a social media fast
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and not to find out because you want to watch it later. It's the same thing with sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you'll get friends going, wasn't that an exciting game? You go, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Don't tell me who won.
Don't tell me who won. So things like, I make sure that I'm still home for things like the American Idol finales or, the Oscars or anything. Because if not, I'm really, I can't go on Twitter or Facebook for a day
Yeah.
until I catch up. So, so the Oscars have happened. We have no idea. So don't look to us for anything.
No.
And you can only look to us, however, for taking a look back at the weekend's previous liturgies, and that's what we'll be doing. And, of course, this begins the 3 weeks in Lent of double readings, double homilies, double everything. And we have a very interesting phenomena this week in homilies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be very interesting. And then we're going to get a chance to look at, as well, the voice of the people and a few other things that are happening. Of course, I already alluded to it. So who's binge watching Fuller House?
No.
Other than me.
I'm not.
He's
I haven't
not.
started yet.
Nope.
Chasen doesn't want anything to do with it.
I didn't even know anything about it. So
Yeah.
again, I live under a rock.
Yes.
Did any of you watch the original series Full House?
I did. Yeah.
Right.
I think I was a kid.
I'm sure you were.
Kid. Okay.
What wasn't that on? Was that on in the 90s?
Yes. Late 80s, early 90s.
All right, I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel old. And I always say that with you guys. No, I mean I'm just a TV-aholic. I always have been since the very beginning of my life. Mother and father put a small TV in my room, and that kind of set the addiction on fire. So I watch all of this stuff, especially sitcoms, because I really liked sitcoms.
Yeah.
And I really think that people don't like them nowadays because they're not real. They would rather watch American Horror Story
Yeah.
or Gotham
or those horrible other show. I can't think of any names, but there's so much garbage on TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, there really is.
Like the Real
You know.
Housewives of
have a-
I don't know, Spruce Street.
You have
or something
170
like that.
channels and you can't find anything to watch.
I
This
know
is
it.
true. This is true. So go ahead, Jay.
Well, a lot of people have turned to like these miniseries now,
Yeah.
I think this-
like Breaking Bad, those kinds of shows. They're a little bit more upper level, I guess you could say, as far as the type of show.
Like Downton Abbey.
So right, those
Downton Abbey.
miniseries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that there is nothing really on TV, and some people are going back to the old,
Yeah.
and trying to update them. Some succeed, some don't. And of course, the biggest thing I saw was a couple of critics who said, well, this is just cheesy and all this other, and I'm sitting there going, it was cheesy in the 80s.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's a sitcom, it's a situation comedy where the situation is what drives the show.
Yeah.
So the more ridiculous the situation, sometimes the more cheesy it gets. But they all have some sort of moral piece in all of them, even if it's like 3 lines of dialogue,
Yeah.
that give you some sort of moral grounding. And this one, again, is no, they said, everybody's back and they look older. Well, no, that's only the very first episode. Once you get into episode 5 and 6 where I am, now you're dealing with the new kids, the new characters, the new situations, everything's updated.
Yeah.
But people are uncomfortable with that. They don't want anybody or anything to be preached at them. They'd rather watch, F Lab.
Yeah. Or any, any of these crazy reality shows. Dear Lord.
I know. So I don't mind watching nostalgic.
No, I don't either. There's a whole TV network for nostalgic.
Well, that's if you want to watch you want to watch the originals. But I don't mind this nostalgic renaissance and especially in a place like Netflix or Amazon. Although I'm looking forward. There's an Amazon series I really want to see that gained a lot of awards with the SAG Awards. It's the Mozart one.
Mozart in the Jungle.
Yes, I want to see that.
I've seen the first 3 of that.
How is that?
It's good. I've only seen 3 of them, but I've enjoyed them.
See,
Is it Mozart really in the jungle?
No, it takes place. It's the intrigue that goes on in a symphony orchestra.
Okay.
Okay, hence the title.
Right. And then you could also transfer that to a choir or
Yes,
else to get the same effect.
It's basically I forget what town or city it takes place in, but it's
New York, doesn't it?
Orchestra, and
Doesn't it take place in NYC?
I don't know, maybe. I don't remember details like that. I remember characters.
But I like the fact that they're putting out the series in like 13 episode blocks.
Yeah.
Watch them when you want to watch them.
I did start watching that, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah, and I know Steve lives under a rock, so I don't want to continue this line of. He does. But Steve, at least if you live under a rock and you stay home for like periods of time, you could just go to Netflix and watch a whole series.
Yeah.
True.
That's the good thing. You can watch these things now instead of having to be home on a Friday night at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Watch Blue Bloods. Okay, you can watch it.
I have several shows I watch. Long Island Medium.
Oh, jeez.
I
Really?
watched The Little Couple.
The Little Couple?
What else? Let's see.
I watch Fixer Upper.
Oh, I love that. I love Fixer Upper.
Love Fixer Upper.
Yeah. I watch. Sometimes I'll watch the cooking shows. I don't know why, because I don't cook. But
You can get ideas.
So. Yeah.
But see, Netflix has turned me on to binge watching.
Yeah.
That's how I started with Downton Abbey. That's how I started with Blue Bloods. I'm trying to catch up on NCIS because I don't remember. I don't think I started watching NCIS until like the 5th season.
I've watched NCIS from its inception to now.
You can go back to Netflix. You can go back to Netflix and watch it all.
I love NCIS, and I like the new one, NCIS New Orleans.
Oh,
I love Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula any day.
Yeah, I love Scott Bakula, and I love the guy on the original NCIS.
That's true. Mark Harmon.
Yeah.
Well, the boys are getting bored, so we're going to move along now to what everybody comes here for. And please don't mind us. Sometimes we talk about these things. So we're just going to move straight on to...
Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear? For the 3rd Sunday of Lent, whether you were in Cycle C or Cycle A, there is a reading and a homily for you.
Yeah.
And hopefully we have I hear we're going to have a little bit of everything, so this ought to be interesting. If you were in the realm of the elect and you were having a scrutiny today, which we'll talk about a little bit after, then you were in the Cycle A readings, okay? You were in Exodus 17, okay? I'm going to... Now, I must understand the pronunciation of, is it Massa or Massa?
Massa.
I always thought it was Massa.
Well, you went to a Protestant college.
No. Massa means something totally different to this Portuguese chick here.
Well, I can't help it.
Isn't that Malasadish?
No, there's a difference between Massa and Malasadas.
Again, I'm Italian. What do I know? I don't know.
Can't, I'm just going by the Hebrew pronunciation.
Okay, I never knew it was masa.
Yeah.
Seriously. Because masa is a bread. It's a sweet bread.
Okay.
In
But
Portuguese.
not to the Hebrews, it's not.
Excuse me?
Not to the Hebrews, it's not a sweet bread.
Well, maybe that's where I get that darn 8% of Ashkenazi Jew in my DNA that I still have to try to find.
Maybe that is.
Maybe that's the reason. Because well, I just didn't know that. I always pronounced
Masa and Maraba.
Masa and Maraba. That was a new one on me. So we went to Masa and Maraba. Or we talked about getting water out of a rock.
Yes.
in Exodus 17. Then we had Psalm 95 was the proper psalm. If today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts.
Yes, but we continued with our Lenten common Psalm 91.
Right, exactly. Romans 5 was the second reading, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And we heard the account of the Samaritan woman at the well from John 4.
Yes.
Now, if you did not have elect and there was no scrutiny, then you were in Exodus 3 in the Cycle C readings, and you were with Moses at the burning bush.
Yeah.
So we were all with Moses, either getting water or with a
Yeah. With a burning bush or with getting water, yeah.
Okay, so we were with Moses at the burning bush. Psalm 103 was the proper psalm of the day. The Lord is kind and merciful. And gentlemen, are you doing common or proper psalms for Lent?
Proper.
Proper. So you did the Lord is kind and merciful. Whose did you do today? Oh, yes, Sunday.
I used it out of that collection. I forget.
Try out.
Yeah, I forget which one in particular.
Which one?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Stephen, what are you doing? Are you doing common?
Today we used Scott Soper's "Loving and Forgiving" today.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which was probably it's good at this time of year. That works.
And it's new. It's definitely new for them. So
For them.
yeah.
Is it a common psalm, or are you changing the psalm every week? Are you using that as a common psalm?
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
I normally wouldn't, but again,
Right.
my situation is
Yeah.
The way it is.
Unique.
But it makes sense for you to
yeah.
use it. It
Yeah.
makes sense for you to use a common psalm wherever
Yeah.
you can,
Yeah.
Right.
in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
And if this is something that's going to be repertoire building, then
Yeah.
it's
and as an aside, last night I played the gospel acclamation in 2 different keys. Whoops.
Oops.
whoa! How did that happen?
Because I started in F major,
Right.
and I did not look at the verse ahead of time,
Uh huh.
and it was just in respond and acclaim.
Okay.
And the verse ends on a C major chord,
Okay.
Okay.
or something. So I don't know what I was thinking, but we started in F,
Uh huh.
and then we ended the final refrain in G major.
All right.
So you modulated then.
It wasn't one of my finest moments. I don't think anybody really noticed, to be
No,
honest with
probably
you.
not.
So,
You modulated, and that's good Protestant organ playing. Good for you.
so yes.
I was just
Oh,
talking.
God. It happens. It happens so much.
Oh, I know. I was just I was asked. I'm playing every weekend in March out, and one of the people who hired me, I asked the question, about the cantors, and one of them said, "You're going to have to play things down 2 steps for this one."
Oh, geez.
And of course, I said, "Well, is there a
Button.
button for that, or do I have to do it old school?" And he said, no. He said, there's a button for that. He said, if there wasn't, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I've had, when I went, and Jason will understand this, when I went to school, I had to learn how to modulate into, many different keys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I played a confirmation where I played Veni Creator Spiritus in 7 different keys.
Jeez.
Took long to do the confirmandi.
Whoa.
So 7 different keys of Veni Creator Spiritus.
Just go through the circle of fifths. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then some. And then some. So, Steve, don't feel,
It's funny. And by the time I started the refrain, I'm like, what's happening?
What happened?
What's going on? And I thought, oh, well, it's too late now. So,
And no one noticed.
and I don't think
No one
anybody
noticed.
No.
No.
No one noticed.
Yeah.
Gee, fancy that. Okay, second reading for your Cycle C people would be 1 Corinthians 10. This is sort of like the Exodus understood through, Christ's death and resurrection, basically, trying to put the 2 together. And then, of course, Luke 13, which was the parable of the fig tree, which was something we were doing in Generations of Faith this month.
Mm.
So I think Sacred Heart did not have does not have the catechumens, the elect this year. St. Martha Mary does. So they did the parable of the fig tree, and they were able to do their fig tree thing.
Okay.
Works. So let's start with cycle A. Okay, just because it's alphabetical. And cycle A homily would be Linda.
Me.
And the cat has joined us.
And the cat came back.
You don't know who's on, there he is.
Okay, our deacon preached this weekend, and he always starts with a joke, but I will spare you.
It wasn't a bad. It wasn't. It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. He kind of targeted somebody in the congregation at each mass, and used their name for the joke. But anyway, he says, if the people of our first reading had lived in our time, they probably would not have had to grumble against Moses in their thirst for water. If Moses had lived in our day and age, he probably would not have had to strike the rock to have water flow from it for the people to drink. And if today's gospel story had happened today, Jesus would not have had to ask the Samaritan woman, "Give me a drink." You may be thinking, why not? Because now we seem to have found a simple solution for this need for a handy supply of drinking water, and that is the ever-present plastic bottle of water that accompanies so many people wherever they go. Students bring water bottles to sip during class. Teacher has a bottle for a quick gulp during a lecture or discussion. Hikers, bikers, and joggers carry their supply of water with them. Outdoor and indoor workers are never far from their personal water bottle that they have seemed to replace the water cooler. All we have to do today is walk through the supermarket and see shelf after shelf of all different name brands of bottled water. And at this point, he used a cartoon. I have the cartoon. Because
we said we pulled it up.
I swiped his notes after Mass. And she's reading a nursery rhyme to her little brother, and she goes, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a bottle of water. So it's ubiquitous. The bottles of water are everywhere. But even today, with all the technology we have, water sources are not without their problems. Recall in last month's news the problems Michigan had with their water supply. They tried to save money and switched from Detroit's system to the Flint River, and because the water was not treated properly, it became contaminated with lead. If you cross the Atlantic to a country like Uganda in East Africa, where it is so hot and they get so little rain, there is a lack of clean drinking water. There, Moses may have had to strike the rock. If you have done any traveling to other countries, you may notice that they try to save as much of the rainwater as possible. They catch rainwater that runs off the roof in various ways. And millions of people die each year from not having clean water to drink. But as I said earlier, today's gospel began with Jesus' request to give me a drink. It is important to note that what the Samaritan woman did after her encounter with Jesus at the well. The gospel says the woman left her water jar and went into town and said to the people, "Come and see a man who told me everything I have done." The gospel adds that the people left the town and went to meet Jesus. And so the woman, who had been a great sinner, became Christianity's very first missionary. After her encounter with Jesus at the well, she went off to share the good news about Jesus with her friends and neighbors. And I find it interesting to note that in the prayers for the elect, in the scrutiny prayers, it's a petition for her to share the fact that she's found Jesus with her friends and neighbors. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Herein lies the practical message in today's gospel for each one of us. We, too, should respond to our encounter with Jesus as well as of our baptism, the way the Samaritan woman did. For Easter and during the Easter season, Father John and I will gently sprinkle, and of course this is the big joke because our deacon and our pastor love the sprinkling rite.
Yes, they do.
My pastor would use a super soaker if he'd get away with it.
Would.
Yeah, he would. And He said, we will very gently sprinkle everyone with water blessed at the Easter Vigil, which reminds us of our own baptism. We'll be very careful not to miss anyone and to use just the right amount of water, being extra careful for those wearing glasses. If you notice, everybody's cleaning their glasses after the
I take
sprinkling
mine
light.
off. I take mine off before it even happens.
And that Father John has been working out at the gym to strengthen his right arm. Everybody laughed. So we too should share with others the new life that Jesus has made possible for us. Statistics show that 2/3 of all Catholics who eventually return to the church do so because a friend or a relative invited them to return. Statistics show that the best recruiters of inactive Catholics are Catholics who themselves were once inactive and have returned to the church. I believe in this area of missionary work in which every Catholic in this church today can and should be involved. And then he read a little excerpt from a book. And
It's dynamic Catholic.
okay,
What's his name?
and he basically
Kelly.
the point was that 7% of any parish's congregation gives like 80% of the money and does 80% of the work that needs to be done in any given parish. Just think what would happen if we just added another couple of percents, or double the percent, or triple the percent. He said the book quoted, the church, could be a real force to be reckoned with. Jesus has assured us there's more joy in heaven over one person who has strayed from the fold and returned than over 100 persons who have no need of salvation. So let us go out and do as the woman at the well did, and gently share this news with others.
Yeah, when he pulled the Matthew Kelly book out, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right. Because Matthew Kelly's into that type of statistical stuff.
Yeah, and that was a good point, and it's true.
It makes the point.
Yay.
It makes
It's
the point.
true.
I think it's pretty good that it's up to 7% now,
Yeah.
which is
Everybody else just is, like slugs.
they kind of sit there.
Yeah.
Well, I heard a saying once that a third of the parish does the work.
Hmm.
A third of the parish. Oh, I forget it. I forget
No.
the rest of it.
Think. We'll give you a chance to get through this. Take a moment, Steve.
Oh,
Yes, take a moment.
a third of the people do the work. A third of the people watch the other third doing the work, and the other third don't even know that's what's
Don't
going
even
on.
know what's happening. Yeah.
Right.
Know that there's work going on. Yeah,
Right.
great. That's probably correct in a lot of
Yeah,
places.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, because I'll tell you that sometimes when I get up there to ask for help, the looks on people's faces are like, "You mean nobody does this?
Yeah.
Hello?"
Yeah.
No, or better yet, isn't that what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Right.
No.
Yeah. Or the person sitting next to you.
Right.
I can't
Yeah.
conduct a choir by myself
Yeah.
Right. Play and sing all the
Yeah.
parts.
and sing all the parts. Yes.
Doesn't work.
Nope.
All right, so that was the water, and I had it all.
Water of life.
I had it all queued up too,
Aw.
as I was, sitting here finding it. And just-
Yeah. Well, we sang that today.
Yes, I know. That's why I had to find it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I still have iTunes on my computer, so I can
Aha.
find these things.
Yes.
My favorite.
We did sing that.
Okay, so we've got the water one, which is true. Now everybody has a bottle of water.
It's true.
It's almost like it's tied to them. Now we have two other. We're going to go to Jason with the it's a combo homily.
Mm.
The way he described it. So we're interested to hear this combo homily that kind of straddles the cycles.
Yeah. He did it through talking about Moses and the burning bush, and also for the Cycle A reading talking about the woman from Samaria, in speaking with Jesus, and how in both of these situations, he talked about how throughout Scripture people tended to always ask questions, always asking Jesus questions, or when they're talking to God, asking questions. In these instances, these are very few times where they're having conversations, talking, and he related that to what we can do this Lent. Not just in Lent, but all the time, but in particular right now in the moment. Let us enter into that same kind of conversation through our prayer as we're going through Lent, rather than just always asking, and to help us deepen our faith that way in following that example. So I thought that was interesting how the correlation is kind of the same there, and how they're approaching those situations and that idea of a conversation rather than just always asking questions, which is not a bad thing to ask questions, but when we can be a little bit deeper, and that's the challenge. That's the challenge, to be able to go to God with that sense of openness. So I thought that was interesting. And he talked about the life-giving water during our Cycle A readings. He talked about the life-giving water, correlating that with the water that the water and blood that flowed through the side of Jesus as he was pierced. That sense of life-giving spirit, where we're not necessarily talking about physical H2O, but the water of life, spirit, and grasping that. And he talked about the fig tree. That was his big thing. They were almost ready to cut the fig tree down, get rid of it, but instead decided to cultivate it. It did not die, but it bore life. It bore fruit. And he compared that to ourselves. Not letting ourselves sit idly by, but we need to be able to cultivate our own soils, essentially, our spirits, our faith, and then we can be witness to others, help others cultivate their soil as in our Lenten journey. So, a very, very nice correlation.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did he use, because you were there for a few masses, did he use the both cycles, I'm taking it, or did he just use, like at St. Thomas, we just use Cycle A for all three masses?
All three masses.
No, we just did Cycle A at the 5, because that's when the candidates were there.
So there's where we get the hybrid.
Right.
I have to create a homily that spans 6 different readings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good job then. I mean, kind of putting them all together and making sense.
He also, I think last year when we had all the we had a really bad winter last year.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of evergreens out in the front of the church, and one of them was just so badly, it was brown, it was dying, and he had told the maintenance man, who's also a gardener too on the side, but Father was ready for him to take the bush out. It was dead, and he cut a branch off, and they noticed that the branch still had some green on the inside of the bark. So he said, well, let's leave it. So John literally, he cultivated the soil, he fertilized it, watered it, and it's fully back to life.
It's back.
It's back.
Wow.
So it was that was that was interesting how that happened, and it also correlated very well. Yeah.
Wow. Cool. I love it when you can get the real time correlation.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Well, good. So we've now had Cycle A, a hybrid, and now
something completely different.
we go to Steve, who had something completely different.
Yes, we have it was our Lenten mission starting this weekend and continuing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So he had he talked about an examination of conscience using the 7 deadly sins.
Ooh.
Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth.
Ah, yes, sloth.
Sloth.
Wrath, otherwise known
My
as
favorite
anger,
deadly sin.
and sloth. And he went through each one and give a little commentary on each one, and then he had everybody focus their attention on the crucifix and said, in America we like things nice and clean, antiseptic. He said, but don't clean it up and take the crucifix for what it is. And then he morphed into Monday night is a penance service.
Mm-hmm.
And he said if it's been 2 years, 20, 30, 40, whatever, it's a year. It's in this year of mercy. They're not gonna it's not gonna be whips and chains. But he was excellent. I mean he would. I'm not gonna go through each of the sins because he kind of expiated on each of them. But it was good. So
He is he's a very good preacher.
yes.
I did Sunday night mass with him over at Loretto for a couple of years.
Yes.
And he was always a really good preacher.
Yeah. So it was good. So it didn't necessarily pull in the scripture readings, but it was more generic.
Well, and that's what happens with missions.
Yes.
When they happen, this is what happens. You don't have any catechumen. You don't have any elect in the parish, do you?
I don't think so.
No. So, well,
they're under wraps.
But it's not highly unlikely. But no. So unless there were, this kind of thing supplants, the readings sometimes, and it's understandable because you want people to come to the mission.
Yeah.
Right.
We have it in a couple of weeks, Joanne.
Now we have it this week, so our Sunday was not at all the masses because remember we're a collaborative.
Yeah.
So you can't get your mission preacher at every single mass.
Right.
So they're having they had a Sunday afternoon service at 4 in Rochester. Tonight, Monday, is the penance service in Lakeville, and then the mass will be tomorrow, Tuesday, in Middleborough. The theme is Simon of Cyrene.
Oh, interesting.
I guess, and I find it. I'm unfortunately couldn't get to the Sunday one, so I'm hoping someone recorded it because when you get it like that, now that's a 3-parter.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss the first night's preaching because it ties into the second, which kind of ties into the third. So I'll be attending the other 2.
Cool.
But not that one. So, but some missions are like that, and you can get people to come outside. We can't have a missionary at every mass. Doesn't work.
No, I guess not.
No, because there's like 11 masses.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll be having Tim Riley is going to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And we have Father Paul Soper.
I don't know him.
He is he's in charge.
I don't know Massachusetts priests.
That's okay. He's in charge of this entire Disciples in Mission collaborative thing for the Archdiocese, and he is a degreed rocket scientist.
Whoa.
That was seriously, MIT grad.
Jeez.
In rocket science. So everybody always makes the joke about it, but
that's like Stephen's pastor is a pharmacist.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
That's true. And in this year of Luke,
yes,
pharmacists are a good thing. All right, so those are our homilies for this past week.
And they all sound very interesting.
Yeah, they're all different.
I wouldn't have minded hearing about the 7 deadly sins.
Me neither. But then you've got to have the 7 lively virtues
to balance them.
Yeah. Right. I was thinking that too. I'm thinking that.
To leave you there with the 7 deadly sins is like, this is depressing.
Yeah.
None of us have a chance. So we would love to know how your homilists made out this weekend with whether they were doing 1 cycle, 2 cycles, or something completely different. So please send us some feedback to mondaymorningcatholic@gmail.com, or you can put it on the website, MondayMorningCatholic.net, in the comment box as you come and pick up. For those of you who don't subscribe, who come to the website and watch or listen, you can, if you dare, put it on Facebook, facebook.com/Monday Morning Catholic, or
But here's my number, so call me.
give it up for Lent and call the voice feedback line, 774-955-0659.
We deliver.
We don't. We're not a pizza delivery service.
I love it. I love it. No, we'll deliver homilies, though.
Deliver homilies, yes, we do. But now we want you to deliver one. So in order to do that, you must call the voice feedback line, 774-955-0659. Okay, moving right along to our Voice of the People for this past week. It was slim pickings out there. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some weeks I'm much better at getting stuff out that's timely. Other weeks, not so. I mean, having been sick 2 weeks ago, I've been trying to play catch up the last 2 weeks. So when I saw something, I would send it along. This one, however, took traction real fast, and not just on our site. I mean, it's been passed around a bit in our area. It's our Sunday Visitor is doing they took the United States and kind of quartered it, and they're going to be looking at Catholicism in each of the 4 quarters of the United States. So they started with the Northeast, which does not just include the 6 Northeast states. We're talking New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. And what this is a polarized picture of faith.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. It's kind of interesting. Not that any of us here, I think, were absolutely surprised
No.
by the findings. Too many churches, too little priests, too little congregations.
Yeah.
You know,
And there was one part of the article that says, we were overbuilt. Well,
we were, but
we weren't. We needed that. We needed that at the time.
well, we needed it because of the immigrants, is what we
Yeah, we needed it because we had the numbers.
right.
People were coming in. People were Catholic. We needed bigger schools. We needed bigger churches.
And we needed it in their own language.
And now we have
Too much.
these big mausoleums
Mhm.
with a couple hundred people coming on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Depressing.
You know, and the place is big, and they haven't kept it up in years because only 1/3 of the people are doing any of the work,
Yeah.
or 7% are giving, whichever you'd like to roll on that. But that's the problem. I'm trying to find it because I just wanted to bring it up here. Yeah, we were an immigrant church. On top of it all, you think you're an immigrant church now? We're an immigrant church. The best example we have in Rhode Island is the 2 churches with the cemetery between them in Cranston,
Yeah.
St. Mary's and what used to be St. Anne's. And one was Italian and one was Irish.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's not that it wasn't totally that nobody wanted to mingle, but the Italian church would have Mass in Italian.
Yeah.
6 out of 7 Masses a weekend would be in Italian. In Fall River, we're the same way. The Portuguese church, which was mine, Espírito Santo, was on one street. At the end of that street used to be the Maronite church,
Mhm.
which is a totally different idea. 2 streets up was the French church,
Oh.
Notre Dame. 3 streets over was Immaculate Conception, the Irish church. So where I lived in Fall River, I had walking distance to
Yeah.
3 different churches and could go to any one of them.
But
And
you went to the one you were supposed to go to.
I did because I was bilingual for a time.
Right.
So I learned my Mass in both Portuguese and English
Mm.
when I was growing up. As I got older and needed to, I pretty much stayed with English, then I could go to any of them.
Yeah, but see, you don't see many many masses being offered in French or Italian or Polish or
Not
Portuguese.
anymore.
Not anymore.
Right.
In those days, they were.
Mm.
And that was why you needed to have a Portuguese church and a
Different
French church.
parishes. Yeah.
Because their children all wanted to learn English, to be American.
Right.
I know that's what my mother always said. Italian was spoken in their home, but she said we wanted to learn English because we wanted to be like our friends.
Right.
So therefore, me, the third generation, I got very little Italian except when they were trying to talk about things they didn't want the kids to hear.
Right. Exactly. And I was schooled at school. Portuguese was a subject. Okay, so I was learning Portuguese in school. The problem was I'd go home and it was a different dialect.
Right.
So I would get reprimanded at home for not saying it correctly.
Correct, yeah.
Go to school, get reprimanded for not saying it correctly at school. So I gave up. I was like,
But now the big problem is and what I'm seeing. I was watching little snippets of the Anaheim convention.
Oh, the LA Congress. Yeah.
And what I'm seeing too is not only Spanish but Tagalog. However you say that.
I don't know how that's. Is it Tagalog or?
It looks like Tagalog to me, but that's not how they say it.
I'm sure.
They say something like Tagalog or something. And
what is that?
Vietnamese.
Oh, yeah.
It's an Indonesian. It's
A Filipino dialect.
dialect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
That's-
Filipino dialect, and they also have the Vietnamese population in the West.
Right.
So they're doing things. I mean, I was watching the Prayer of the Faithful. It's like it's a small world after all.
Sing it.
I'm not singing it.
Thank you.
But it was, they used the four languages
Mhm.
across the board.
Yeah. But now at least, because there aren't as many people as in the old days going to church, you can have a mass in one parish in each of these languages.
Yeah, you could.
Okay? In the old days, we're talking turn of the century, 20th century, you
Yeah.
couldn't do that.
No.
Everybody was going to church. And that's something that Beth Ann brought up on our Facebook page, where she said, isn't this area culturally Catholic? I was so sad when I read that, because it's true.
Well,
From what I see within religious education, it's almost like a cultural. They want their kids to receive sacraments, but
Yeah.
that's it.
but it doesn't mean.
That's the problem.
Right? Doesn't mean anything.
There's no connect there.
No, it's huge disconnect.
It's just saying, "Oh, I'm Catholic, but I'm not practicing."
Yeah.
Right. But that's the Jewish. The Judaism is not just a religion; it's also an ethnic group.
Yeah.
Catholics aren't an ethnic group.
Mm.
That's the That's the difference. So you can have a cultural Jew, but you can't be a cultural Catholic.
No. Yeah. I think though she's probably not talking about it in that context. I think she's talking more about it, like you said, that they'll want these benchmark sacraments,
Right.
as sort of rite of passage.
Right.
But as Jason mentioned, there's this huge disconnect with the faith.
Right.
It's like, well, when you get to be 7, you make your first communion. Now, what does that mean? It might be the kid's last communion,
Definitely is their first penance. That's their
Yeah.
last penance usually.
So there is a huge disconnect there, that people they take the sacraments, but they don't take them as sacraments.
Right.
Or like another thing Father mentioned this weekend in his homily, he snuck it in, is talking about, we have no problem going to practice for ballet or going to practice for football or going to practice for music.
Oh yeah.
What do you think we need to do with our faith? We need to practice it. It's not one and done.
Yeah.
It's a weekly
Right.
thing that it's a challenge, but we practice the faith continually.
Yes. It's I applaud them doing this, because it's true. If you go to Florida, if you go to California, if you go to down south, there are way more Catholics practicing their faith than there are up here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have all the churches.
And I think, though, don't you think, you know what's happening in Europe? The churches in Europe are empty.
Right.
They are.
And-
They are.
Yeah. And I think that because New England or the Northeast
Right.
was so heavily Europeanly settled. How you like that?
I like that. Whoa.
It was so heavily settled with Europeans
Mhm.
that now I think the Northeast is kind of following the unfortunate path set by Europe.
We prefer they didn't, because this is where
Well, of course we prefer they didn't, but it's what's happening.
it is what's happening. And what's going to happen is more and more churches are going to merge, close.
Yeah, and people get all
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you mention that to people, and they get really upset. But
Yeah.
we have too many churches.
That's the reality.
Well, if 7% of the people are doing the work,
Yeah.
again, let's run that back again.
Yeah.
Then what do you expect?
Some of them are falling down. They
Yeah.
have no money to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they might be beautiful structures,
Yeah.
but there's nobody going to church there to maintain them.
Right. They're not giving of their time, talent, or treasure. They're not,
And
And
I hesitate to bring this up but it's always me that gets in trouble. So,
Oh,
but I also
right ahead.
I also think it depends on the leadership.
Sure it does.
Yes, it does.
If you have someone who's dynamic and it draws the people in, if you have someone who's not so dynamic,
Easy now.
Way of doing that.
Very, very diplomatically said.
Yes, it was.
and I could make a list, but I won't because I don't want to get in trouble.
We will not do that.
I even see
We could all make a list, and I'll be ready.
I even see it in Providence. Where I work, I would say it's a affluent neighborhood,
Mhm.
and we have a lot of people. You go 3 blocks, to the west,
Yeah.
and the church is empty.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no different in the Archdiocese of Boston either, and that's why collaboratives came about.
Yeah.
But again, even with a collaborative, you have to have an extremely dynamic person at the
Oh,
head.
yeah. Yeah.
And I work for an extremely dynamic person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Linda's met him,
He's
and
a good guy, yeah.
he is, and he's extremely dynamic, and he gets things done, and he gets the process.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, you may not like the plan, but at least there's a plan.
Exactly.
And yet the church is still growing. I mean, look. I mean, talk about the scrutinies in the right of election. I mean, how many candidates come before the altar on Easter Vigil, and you're bringing people into the church? I mean, it's.
Yeah, we are, Jason, bringing people into the church, but they're coming in dribs and drabs, and they're leaving in droves.
Yeah, but better dribs and drabs than not at all.
Well, of course it's better dribs and drabs than not at all. And, you try we try to put the catechumens and the candidates out there as much as possible for our people to see that, there are people that want to join us.
Yes.
Really?
But like I said, I have friends who are churches in the Midwest and in the West that are welcoming 35 and 40 people to be baptized. Never mind candidates. So there are a lot of. It's just everything is smaller in the Midwest. I mean, everything is smaller in the East, Northeast, because I'm grateful when we have one catechumen.
And it still is the sign of a vital
Yes.
parish
Yes.
to have catechumens.
Yes.
And candidates. That shows the parish is living.
Yes. And we've had them. We've had them almost every year. I think out of 20 to 25 years, we've only had like 2 years where we didn't have any baptisms.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
We managed to beat the Bushes for them.
Well, hey, I see Sebastian has joined us
Yes, Sebastian has joined us.
At least he's quiet.
Oh, hi, Sebastian.
now. Well, I can't be outdone either.
That's a big kitty, Joanne.
That's a big kitty.
I ain't a kitty, let me tell you.
Oh, he's so
Watching
cute.
this socks. This is Red Sox, actually. And that means that today is the beginning of the baseball season. It's
Woo!
about time. I know it's only spring training, but we're back into baseball. So,
How
yeah.
can it be Red Sox? He's white.
No, actually, she's red.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
If you look at her, if the face is white because she's 12 and a half.
Oh, okay.
Back of her, she's actually very red.
Oh.
She's considered a red Wheaton.
Oh, I
Is she
can see-
is
I
she
can see
Catholic?
it. Yeah,
She's very Catholic, thank you.
very Catholic dog.
Yes, she is. I had to put her down because she gets heavy at 18 pounds,
Yeah.
which is about as, well, some cats are that way too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so thank you, folks, for giving us the voice of the people with that. We'll put the others up as well because I think we need to see the other three-quarters of the country and not just bemoan what's happening here in the Northeast. We need to see the rest of the country and say, yes, there is hope for us as Catholics yet. So we're extremely happy with that.
Well, there is hope for us. I think the article even said
Mhm.
the church will go on. It may be smaller, but it will go on.
Right.
It should. And I don't have that one either. If anybody has been watching me, every time somebody says something, I've been writing down for a new for my soundboard. I have quite a few starting to run now. So, and I've got to keep the dog from scratching herself. Hold
Oh,
on.
don't scratch, socks.
She does that. She has allergies, poor thing. Okay, one last thing up on our, it's because we've got a few things to bring to people's attention. What's going on? There's a few things out there close to home, and I think most of them are close to home. First, I'll turn it over to Jason, because he has a very special guest coming to his parish next weekend. If you are in the Riverside, Rhode Island area, you might want to come and see this. So, Jason, go ahead.
Yes, St. Brendan's Parish in Riverside is hosting Steve Angrisano. He'll be at our parish on Saturday, March 5th. 5 o'clock Mass. He'll play 5 o'clock Mass with us, and then a concert to follow.
Oh, well, that's a treat. The choir, is the choir going to be in for that?
No, they're not. They're not going to do that. I have a couple of musician friends of mine that were playing the Sunday night Mass with me. They're gonna come in and play with me with him. So.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah. He's coming. Well, he's also coming for the middle school retreat day.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
He's gonna give the keynote address at the beginning of the retreat day, and then we'll do Mass and do the concert.
Oh, cool. All right.
I saw a presentation of his at the Anaheim Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Job? Huh?
Going from Anaheim to here.
Yeah, it was it's called Job, the Gospel of Now, or the Now Gospel, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a Rory Cooney piece?
No, it was his. It was
all right.
Steve Angrisano's.
Oh, okay.
Rory's is a prodigal son, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
But I
this
thought
this was Job.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook, I saw somebody congratulating Rory for it.
He evidently did something at the beginning, but I didn't see that.
Okay.
He wrote something for the beginning, but this was
okay, all right.
This was like 11 o'clock at night, so I wasn't real, I was trying to catch it.
Can't watch those things at 11 o'clock at night, Linda. That's dangerous.
I know. But I did see a portion of it, and it looked very well put together.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, I wish I could go. Unfortunately, I'm playing out all weekend. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a good week, but I have to play host, chauffeur, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
we've all been
Been
there. Been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
Yep.
Yep. Have fun.
He looks like a nice enough guy, so
Yeah, it'll be fine.
yeah.
So that's what's happening at St. Brendan's. Our friend of the podcast, Father Austin Fleming, who's, by the way, your prayers are working wonders. So thank you for sending prayers his way, has a new book out. And if you subscribe to his either his website or just for his Monday morning stuff, every Monday morning he writes an original prayer. It's Good Morning, Good God.
Yeah.
And it's all about what the new week is going to be like and how, the topics have resonated with me for about 3 years. And I every Monday morning I look forward to that, as well as our podcast. But I look forward to that, and now he's put some, I think, the best ones in a new book.
Yeah.
So I'll put the link up on the website for those of you who would like to get the book, because it's also available. It's available in paperback and Kindle.
Yay!
For those of us who like Kindle.
Good. Then I can delete all the emails that I've been saving.
Okay. No, don't do that, because some of them may not be in there.
Okay.
Come on, he's written how many? He's not going to be able to put them all in a book.
I know. He can't possibly put them all in.
And the last thing I have on the agenda is there is a 24, believe it or not, the Archdiocese of Boston is doing a 24 Hours of Mercy, where there will be 6 designated centers in each of the 4 regions of the Archdiocese. And that means there will be adoration and reconciliation for 24 hours.
Oh my God.
Beginning on Friday, February 5th. Am I right?
No, March 5th.
March 5th. God. That's right.
Say, if that was the 5th, we already missed it.
We missed it, yeah.
It's leap day. Give me a break. This isn't even supposed to be at this day. It's not supposed to be on the calendar.
Right.
But once every 4 years. So, March 5th, 4 o'clock, ending with the 4 o'clock Mass on March 6th. So it's 24 hours. And yes, my boss will be in the confessional from midnight to 8.
Jeez.
Lord, bring the man some coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee, food, a pillow. But because we are one of the centers. Sacred Heart in Middleborough, Massachusetts is one of the centers for this. So we're taking it on, and it's, I'm trying to get there to spend some time in front of the Blessed Sacrament, because it's just really important, if nothing else. We're in the Year of Mercy. I thought this was a great idea. Of course, I've had some people say, why? Can't we just go to confessions at other times? Look, it's a shot in the dark.
Yeah, do something special for the Year of Mercy. Yeah.
We already have The Light Is On For You every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8 during Lent.
We do that on Friday nights.
Yeah. So I think it's very ambitious of the Archdiocese to do this. I'm very glad they're doing it, and hopefully some folks will take advantage of it. So just wanted to get that information out there. Hey, if you have anything out there you want us to plug, you know where to send that to. MondayMorningCatholic@gmail.com. We'll plug it for you. We've been known to do other things.
Oh yeah.
It's gotta be church related. It's gotta be. I'm just watching her.
Yeah, she's all right.
Yeah, she's okay. It's gotta be church related. So no, we're not gonna plug your bake sale for something else.
That's about as church related as you can get.
Yeah, but if it's your Girl Scout cookie drive, we're not.
Yeah, well, that too.
MondayMorningCatholic@gmail.com. You can put in the comment box, MondayMorningCatholic.net, Facebook.com/MondayMorningCatholic, or the voice feedback line, 774-955-0659. Do we have any prayers in particular for this week?
Well, I guess prayers for the St. Augustine's Mission.
Yes.
That's always good.
For the Cranberry Catholic Collaboratives Mission.
Yes.
For the pre,
And always prayers for the Christians in parts of the world where
that are
Christians
persecuted.
are persona non grata.
Mm-hmm. And prayers for the American election.
Oh, dear
Oh, help
God.
us all.
Let's not even go there.
No. Notice I put that at the very end.
Oh, my God.
Where's that martini?
Yeah.
Not until Easter Sunday
Oh.
for me. But in all seriousness,
That's right. I'm glad this is a liturgical podcast because
yes,
if it was a political one, I'd have to drop out at this point.
that's very true.
Linda would be beating him over the head with her guitar.
You betcha.
Ooh. So let's pray for all of that. And
I wouldn't waste my guitars. Steve.
that's true. And of course, any of Pope Francis's intentions for the coming week.
Yes. I heard he's sick, so I hope he feels better.
Oh, no.
Already had a
Pray for him.
Yeah.
slight fever.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time a pope is sick, they think he's dead. No,
It's the truth. It's the truth.
I know. We're so accustomed to that, but no, he's fine. But a few prayers his way might be a good
It
idea.
never hurts.
I know. So, it was nice to have you all here this week.
Yay!
That made me happy. So, for Jason Herview, Steve Romano, Linda Reed, and myself, Joanne Mercier, thank you for being with us as well. We enjoy when you come and visit us, and hopefully you'll be here next week where we'll take on the 4th Sunday of Lent. So until then, God bless. Pray for us all. We'll pray for you. And as always, ciao for now. Bye-bye.